In an unstable Middle East, Israel is the one anchor of stability. In a region of shifting alliances, Israel is America's unwavering ally. Israel has always been pro-American. Israel will always be pro-American. You don't need to do nation building in Israel. We're already built. You don't need to export democracy to Israel. We've already got it. And you don't need to send American troops to Israel. We defend ourselves.
Just prior to your arrival, the president gave a speech that talked about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It made a lot of news. And in the speech, he said the U.S. believes the negotiations should result in two states with permanent Palestinian borders with Israel, Jordan, Egypt. And then he said the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps so that secure and recognized borders are established for both states. It caused a bit of an uproar.
Well, I was very happy to hear the president add the other side of the coin. He said there will be no return to the June 4th, 1967 lines. And I agree with that, obviously, because I think those lines are indefensible. Israel would only be 9 miles wide. That's kind of hard to defend, you know. That's half the width of the Washington Beltway. I was in the Capitol today. It's the width from the Capitol building to Bethesda. Imagine...
Short.
Yeah, just imagine America compressed to half the Washington Beltway. We won't be able to defend ourselves. So I said that we'd have to maintain a permanent Israeli presence along the Jordan River. And I think there's agreement between Israel and the United States that Israel must have defensible borders. Because in our part of the world, there's a simple truth. A peace you can't defend is a peace that will not hold.
Mm-hmm. Things changed pretty dramatically, though, in the course of the time that you've been here. The president went into great detail in his AIPAC speech to clarify those remarks. What did that mean to you when he clarified it?
Well, you know, we talked about that in our conversation, too, and I was glad, and in the lunch that we had, too. I think it was important because it reassures Israel that we'll have a defensible peace, a realistic peace. And I think also that the fact that he said that peace will only be negotiated between the parties. It's not going to be imposed by the UN. The UN can decide anything. The UN can decide that the sun revolves around the earth and that both are flat discs. They could actually do that. They pass these outrageous resolutions. So when the president said that's not going to happen, and that's not going to succeed in the Security Council because they'll block it, and because peace has to be negotiated. So a negotiated peace in which the Palestinians finally recognize the Jewish state, and in which Israel has defensible boundaries, that's a good thing. I mean, so, I agree with that, obviously.
So as this week has evolved, how would you describe your relationship with President Obama?
I think it's a very, very important and positive development and a positive relationship. We have a lot of things that don't meet the eye. People don't see it. Press loves to take differences we have, blow it up. You know, it's very attractive. But I've spent 7 meetings with the president now. That's a lot of hours. And we have so much more that we agree on than those areas that we disagree on. And there are things that people don't know. They don't know that Israeli-American security cooperation is at an all-time high. Now, we've just, I don't know if you know this, we had a revolutionary development now in military history. We've had the support of the United States for Israeli technology that developed an anti-missile system. And we've just intercepted in combat 7 incoming rockets aimed at Israel's cities, and they never got there. We intercepted them in midair. Now, that's partly a result of the American support for Israel that is taking place now. I appreciate that, and I think it's important with all the hoopla. It's important to say these things because there's so much that binds Israel and the United States together, and I think it needs to be said. So
could we say that there is a healthy understanding? Well, I watched the speech today, and 29 standing ovations. You got 10 good jokes in, and over 50 moments of applause. By any estimation, a very, very warm welcome from the United States Congress, a joint session of Congress. Would it be fair to say there's a healthy understanding with the White House and Congress understanding Israel's security needs?
I think so, and I think also some basic principles. You know, Palestinian Authority just embraced Hamas, which I think is a tragedy. Hamas talks about destroying Israel. You know, it just fired a missile deliberately into a rocket, into a yellow school bus. They killed a 16-year-old boy. It rockets our cities and our civilians. It's keeping Gilad Shalit, our captive soldier, for 5 years without one visit from the Red Cross. It's a criminal organization committed to our destruction, saying that they have a holy mandate to kill Jews everywhere. It's not a partner for peace. So the other thing that we agree on is that you can't negotiate with Hamas. You don't negotiate with people who want to kill you.
Let me get into this.
I think that's another area of agreement that I think is important.
Let me ask you specifically, because Hamas's charter not only calls for the destruction of Israel, but for the killing of Jews. You used a line in your speech today. When we say never again, we mean never again.
That's right.
How do you go into negotiations with a group whose charter calls for your destruction now that they are in a unity agreement with Fatah, with the Palestinians?
I don't. I will not. Neither would you. You'd never enter negotiations with a government backed by Al-Qaeda, and we won't go into a negotiation with a government backed by the Palestinian version of Al-Qaeda. And Hamas, by the way, just condemned the United States for killing bin Laden, whom they call a holy warrior. So this is ridiculous. Of course we can't do that. And I think there's agreement between the United States and Israel on this point. I don't think I know that. So I think that's important. Now, if they break up the deal, you know, they don't consummate the union, the deal phrase, then we can go back and negotiate the peace. And you know what is required for the peace to be negotiated, other than Israel having the deal to be completed, assuming they get rid of Hamas? It's not only mutual recognition and security, it's really a simple formulation that the Palestinians, because of us, you know, they hate us because of you, because they feel that we represent a forward position of this common free civilization. And you know something? They're absolutely right. This is the bond. This is this fantastic alliance between Israel and America. It's these two countries that are bonded in this idea of liberty. And that liberty bill, let freedom, let liberty, proclaim liberty throughout the land. Well, I hope that we proclaim and succeed in establishing genuine liberty, genuine democracy in these vast lands of the Middle East. Believe me, if we do, we'll have peace.